everyone, and welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling something that's all about getting the most bang for your buck, making sure your business is running as smooth as possible.
Yeah.
We're talking all about supplier scorecards.
hmm
So if you've got a big vendor meeting coming up, or maybe you're just kind of curious about how companies make sure they're getting that extra value out of all their partnerships,
Absolutely.
well then, you are in the right place. Get ready to dive deep with us into the system because it can really boost your company's profits.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just about saving a few bucks here and there, right?
Right.
Supplier scorecards can really be the difference between having everything running smoothly and just constant headaches,
Oh, yeah,
especially when it comes to those really crucial components that keep your business ticking.
absolutely. So break it down for me. What exactly a supplier scorecard?
So think of it as a structured system, for assessing and ranking your suppliers.
Yeah.
It helps you answer some really important questions,
Yeah.
like, are you getting the best quality for what you're paying?
Mm-hmm.
Are your suppliers consistently meeting deadlines?
Okay.
It's all about making those expectations really clear and then having this clear view of how each vendor is performing.
So it's like a report card for your suppliers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
But there's a twist to it.
Okay.
It's also kind of like a report card on your own company and how well you're managing those relationships.
Ooh, interesting.
Like, are you communicating clearly with your suppliers? Are you setting realistic expectations for them? A scorecard can help you see that bigger picture.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, our research mentioned there are different types of scorecards. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
you've got your simple scorecards, and those might just track some really basic performance indicators,
Okay.
things like on-time delivery and the percentage of defective products you're getting.
Makes sense.
Then you've got your comprehensive scorecards.
Okay.
These go a bit deeper.
Yeah.
They look at things like lead time variability. So are the deliveries kind of consistent?
Right.
Responsiveness to your inquiries,
Okay.
even ethical sourcing practices.
Gotcha. So it's not one size fits
Yeah.
all.
Uh,
But regardless of how simple or complex it is, why are they so crucial? Like, what's the big deal?
Well, just think about it this way. You're launching a new product.
Okay.
You need this critical component for it to be successful. A supplier scorecard could tell you that, hey, this vendor over here has a 95% on-time delivery rate, and they consistently provide really high-quality components. That's the kind of insight that can help you minimize any delays in production to make sure your launch goes off without a hitch.
So it's not just about numbers. It's about actually making strategic decisions that impact the bottom line.
Exactly. You've got this data at your fingertips.
Right.
It allows you to negotiate better deals, identify potential risks down the road, and even nurture those really strong relationships with your top-performing vendors.
Now, the research we gave you highlighted three major benefits: enhanced productivity, real-time reporting, and increased profits. That last one always gets my attention.
Yeah, well, it's all connected, right?
Yeah.
So enhanced productivity comes from, setting those clear expectations and being able to track how well those expectations are being met.
Mm-hmm.
Then real-time reporting. That lets you spot any potential bottlenecks or any issues, really, before they become huge problems.
Oh, that's a good point.
And then with all of this information you have available to you,
Right.
businesses can then make those strategic decisions, the smart decisions that can lead to a nice boost in profits.
So it sounds like supplier scorecards can really take a business from being reactive to being proactive, and I feel like that's where the real magic happens.
Absolutely.
That's powerful.
It's about having the knowledge to anticipate challenges and then to seize those opportunities and to build a more resilient supply chain.
Now, I don't know about you, but when I hear all of this, I'm picturing, mountains of spreadsheets and just hours and hours of data entry.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds pretty overwhelming, to be honest.
It can be.
Is there a way to simplify this whole process?
Well, luckily, we live in a time with, incredible technology.
Mm-hmm.
There's this specialized software out there that can do a lot of that heavy lifting for you.
Okay.
Imagine having a system that just, crunches those numbers,
Mm-hmm.
analyzes performance, and even ranks your suppliers from, your top performers to the ones who might need a little more help.
Oh, that's interesting.
Some software even gives you a score, from 1 to 100.
Wow.
So you know exactly who your star players are.
So you're telling me I can say goodbye to those spreadsheet nightmares?
Yeah, pretty
Oh,
much.
sign me up.
Hmm.
But beyond just making things more efficient, what are the advantages of using this kind of software? Like, what does it actually do for a business?
It's really about turning data, like all that raw data, into insights that you can actually use.
Okay. Yeah.
So picture this. You're negotiating a contract, right?
Okay.
With a new supplier.
Okay.
And you've got all their performance history, from a scorecard system.
Mm-hmm.
You're in a way better spot to negotiate, get better terms for yourself, for your company.
That makes sense. That's a good point.
Or let's say you've got a supply chain issue, disruption.
Oh, yeah.
With these real-time reports, you can quickly figure out who else you can go to. Who are some alternative suppliers that can step in?
Okay.
So it minimizes the damage to your business.
So it's about having that information to make better decisions.
Yeah.
But it's also, I imagine, about building stronger relationships, right?
Yeah, that's a key part of it.
Okay.
A good scorecard system.
Yeah.
It makes things really transparent.
Okay.
And there's open communication with your suppliers.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about, blaming anyone. It's about working together.
Right. It's a partnership.
Right. It's a partnership.
Yeah.
Figuring out how to improve things and make sure everyone wins.
Okay. This all sounds fantastic. But is this kind of software for everyone?
That's a good question.
Like, when does it actually make sense to invest in this type of system?
So I'd say it's especially valuable for companies that really depend on suppliers a lot.
Okay.
Whether that's for raw materials or components or even services.
Okay, that makes sense.
If you're seeing some performance issues with your vendors,
Mm-hmm.
a scorecard can really help you zero in on what's causing the problems and how to fix them.
Yeah.
And even if everything seems to be running fine, there's always room to do things even better.
Sure.
A scorecard can help you spot those opportunities to make your supply chain even more streamlined and just make everything more efficient.
So it's like a secret weapon for businesses,
Yeah.
to get that competitive edge. But let's get practical. How do you actually go about implementing supplier scorecard software?
Sure.
What are the steps?
Well, first, you got to take a good look at yourself.
Okay.
Analyze where you are right now.
Okay.
How are your suppliers doing? What are the biggest pain points?
Mm-hmm.
What are you hoping to achieve with this whole scorecard system?
So you have to know where you're at before you even start the journey.
Exactly.
Okay.
Once you have a really clear picture of what you need,
Yeah.
you can start checking out the different software options and then pick the one that fits your goals, fits your budget.
Okay.
Then comes the implementation phase.
Okay.
It's super important to start small,
Right. Okay.
do a pilot project.
Okay. Yeah.
Focus on a few suppliers first before rolling it out to everyone.
Right.
This lets you smooth out any bumps in the road and get feedback from your team.
It's like dipping your toe in the water before jumping in head first.
Exactly.
Okay.
And speaking of your team, make sure you've got the right people involved. You want your procurement team there, of course. But you also want to bring in folks from other departments that work with suppliers.
Right.
Get their input on what criteria are important to them.
It's a team effort. It's not just a procurement thing.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
Yeah, got it.
And don't forget about data accuracy.
Okay.
I mean, garbage in, garbage out, right?
Right.
Make sure your data is clean, it's consistent, it's accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, your scorecard's not going to give you a real picture of how your suppliers are doing.
So it's about making sure you have a strong foundation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the whole system is reliable.
Now, our research pointed us to a company called Prokuria.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
They have a platform specifically for supplier management, and scorecard creation. What stood out to you about this platform?
Well, the first thing I noticed is how user-friendly it is.
Oh, okay.
It seems like Prokuria really designed this with the user in mind.
Okay.
It's easy to make your own scorecards, you can compare different vendors side by side, and it's easy to keep track of all your records.
So you're saying you don't have to be a tech wizard to use it?
Exactly.
Okay.
Anyone can navigate it, get those valuable insights.
And they offer a free trial.
Yeah, and demos too.
So our listeners can check it out without having to fully commit.
Exactly. It's a
Right.
great way to see if it's a good fit for them.
I always appreciate a no-risk test drive. But let's zoom out for a sec. We've talked about what supplier scorecards are, why they're so important, how software can streamline it all.
Yeah.
But what does this all mean for our listener? How can they take this knowledge and use it in their business or even their personal lives?
I think the big takeaway is that it doesn't matter if you're a small business or a huge company.
Mm-hmm.
If you rely on suppliers, this is valuable stuff.
Okay.
Imagine walking into a negotiation. You're totally prepared.
Right.
You have all the data you need to back up what you're saying.
Right.
Or imagine being able to see potential problems with your supply chain before they even happen.
That's the power of using supplier scorecards the right way.
It's like having a crystal ball, that shows you the future of your supply chain.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can make those smart, proactive decisions and keep everything running smooth.
I like that, yeah. A crystal ball for your supply chain.
And we can't forget about the human element.
Right, right.
By making things transparent, by communicating openly, these scorecards can actually make your relationships with your vendors stronger.
Absolutely.
It's more collaborative, everyone benefits.
Exactly. You're building a partnership based on trust and working together.
So it's not just about getting the lowest price possible. It's about building those relationships where everyone wins.
Yeah, exactly. It's about creating a network of people you can really rely on, people who are invested in seeing you succeed.
I like that. We've covered a lot today. We talked about the different types of scorecards, the benefits, how software can make it all so much easier.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling we've only scratched the surface here. Oh, for sure. This whole world of supplier management, it's always changing.
Yeah.
New tech comes out, best practices evolve. You got to stay on top of it all if you want to stay ahead of the game.
Absolutely. Before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with a little challenge.
Okay, I like it.
Think about how you could use these principles of supplier scorecards, but in other parts of your business or even your personal life.
Oh, that's interesting.
Let's say you're, looking at different contractors for a home renovation.
Right, right.
Or maybe you're trying to find the best dog walker for your furry friend. It's the same idea, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Figure out what's important to you, get some data to see how they're doing, and use that info to make the best choice.
Exactly. It's about being strategic, using data to make your decisions.
Exactly. Sometimes taking these concepts and using them in everyday life, it can really make it click.
I agree.
Well, that's all the time we have for our deep dive into supplier scorecards. We hope you've come away with some valuable knowledge, some takeaways you can actually use.
And remember, the learning doesn't stop here. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and you'll keep having those aha moments.
Love that. Until next time, keep diving deep and stay curious.